It's time for another batch of deals, and this week's a little unusual. Not a massive amount on offer regarding, let's say, more expensive games, so we're throwing in a couple of budget options as well. And now, as always then, I'm going to be covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia, and I also have two winners to announce later in the video for two $10 eShop gift cards. I also, of course, have two more to give away, and to enter, you just need to drop a comment down below. Now, if you do enjoy this video as well, subscribe. It helps out the channel a huge amount. A couple of quick important things then. I covered a lot of games in last Saturday's video and Thursday's, those are both still live. Also, make sure you check out my bonus sales video from yesterday. I'm going to be giving away a Nintendo Switch, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. All of those videos are linked below. Then tomorrow, I'll have my first ever live stream on the channel. I unfortunately got laid off this week, second time in 12 months, so I figured let's make the most of this opportunity. We're going to be diving into the new Prince of Persia, the full game, and I will be on at 2 PM PST. It is already scheduled on the channel, so do find that below as well. You can check it out, you can click the handy notify button, and that will actually ping you then when we are up and running. Alright, so on with today's game, starting with Tinykin. This is a relatively new release, but I only dove into the full release over the Christmas period. Thought it was great fun overall. Basically, it's a 3D collectathon platformer, but the concept is really unique. You arrive on Earth, everyone has gone, you discover you're tiny, and it also appears to be stuck in 1991. Now we must find a way home by using the Tinykins to work alongside you, so think creatures with different abilities. Definitely a lot here to keep you busy, there's some fun mechanics, and it is 40% off, which is a new low price. There's also a demo on the eShop, so do check that out first to see if you fancy it. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is 66% off and matching the low price. I mentioned this just a couple of weeks back, but I wanted to give it another shout out as we do get the sequel of this week. That's going to be Robs the Bank, and I cannot wait, so maybe you should consider giving this first entry a go. It got a whole kind of like soda vibe thing going on to it, and basically it's going to be top-down exploration, combat and environmental puzzles. Story's fun too. Essentially you're getting evicted for not paying taxes, and you must go on a quest for Mayor Onion to pay that debt back. It does seem, however, there's a whole lot of, I guess, corruption going on. This one is well worth your time, and check out my Soda Likes video below where I did feature this game as well. The wonderful 101 Remastered is 55% off and matching the low price. Now, I haven't spoken to this one in a good while. It's a game with a cult status and with good reason. This re-release was well deserved. Now, the concept, you have the ability to control all of these heroes at once, and they pack different abilities and transformations. There is some occasional slowdown here, honestly, but nothing that harms the experience, and all in all, it's just manic action and great fun. I'd personally love to see Platinum Games do a follow-up off the back of this, though next time maybe skip the crowdfunding, which definitely led to some controversy with this drop. You know, folks felt the money wasn't really needed by this particular studio, and I would say I have to agree. Couple of fantastic RPG options then. The Legend of Heroes at Trails of Cold Steel 4, and transparently we don't have all entries on the Switch, but we do at least have the third, and I'd say personally you need experience with that at least if you do want to dive into this concluding entry. That is also on sale though right now, and it comes highly recommended from me. It is one of my favourite games on the system. Now with this fourth entry, I don't want to give too much away for spoilers' sake, but through the series, we've basically attended and worked at a military school, and we were focused on Class 7, and now old and new heroes from Class 7 must come together to stop a war. I'll link my review of the series below, and I like the third so much, I went ahead and played the first two games on PlayStation, and that is definitely a big commitment of time. It's 50% off, which matches the low price, and do know this is a turn-based experience. Ys 9 Monstrum Nox also gets 50% off, and I'd say Ys 8 was better, but I still had a lot of fun with this entry, and my review is in the pinned comments. Now, unlike Trails of Cold Steel, you can jump into this series at any point, and in this one we are cursed and become a title monstrum, basically a being that can destroy monsters. However, because of this, we are also trapped to the city we are in. To break free, we must take down a shadowy dimension that threatens this location with a guest team of other monstrums. It's an action RPG, and the action can get manic, but just know there's some sections that do suffer from frame rate issues, which is definitely disappointing. Still had fun though, and I think genre fans or series fans should, definitely consider it. Party Hard 2 is up next, and we spoke to the first entry in Thursday's video. I had to give this follow-up a shout-out. I think overall I still prefer the original as it was so unique at launch, but this is a good follow-up. It dials up the weirdness as well, honestly, from standard parties to criminals to aliens, but the concept here is the same. Enter a location and clear it of all life. Now it's introducing new characters, 14 levels, a whole host of new traps and weapons, and also a new visual style that I really liked. It's this kind of, I guess, 3D pixel style. Soundtrack's a winner too, and it's 75% off. Darkstar is our first winner of the week of the $10 eShop gift card. They highlighted Doomsday Hunters and the review from SwitchUp that talked me into picking it up. I haven't sunk a huge amount of time into it yet, but I definitely like what I've seen. Congrats on the win, Darkstar. I do have then a second winner coming up here shortly in the video. So I'm going to be grabbing then 2 games this week, meaning these are not recommendations, rather maybe you'll want to join me for the ride. And the first one is particularly high risk, and that is Vampire the Masquerade Swansong, which largely disappointed on other platforms at launch and then quietly released on the Switch over the last couple of months. It was actually this staggered release across regions. I'm too curious though with this one. There's very little coverage out there, so this will be getting a dedicated video on the channel over this next week. I've not played any of it yet, but it's a narrative adventure RPG where you are dealing with themes of murder and power struggles between these different vampire sects. It's 60% off, a new low price, and my review will be live before the sale ends. For the rest of the video then quickfire, but I have 4 UK, EU, Australian exclusive deals and then 3 US and Canadian based deals. My first from the UK batch is my second pickup for the week, and that is Anonymous Code. It's 30% off a new low price, and I've wanted to check this out since release, and it is an adventure visual novel. I know very little about it honestly, so do let me know in the comments if you've played it and what you thought. But what I do know is it's the 6th mainline entry in the science adventure series, which includes one of my favourites, Steins Gate, so I had to check it out. The story then follows a hacker, but I'm expecting seriously big things from this one. Regarding other deals in this region then, they won the sales this week in my opinion, starting with Disney Illusion Island gets a new low with 30% off, a fantastic family-friendly Metroidvania that has no real combat but still manages to be a great time thanks to incredible platforming mechanics. It also helps that it supports multiplayer, and you can set a difficulty for each player which dictates how many hits you can take. You can find my review down below. Alongside this then, they get a new low price on Nintendo Switch Sports with 30% off, and sure, it wasn't perfect, but I still had fun with its modes, particularly the bowling and the tennis. It's going to be a great option for getting family or friends around the TV, or if you're like me personally, get online with friends, and there I definitely got my money's worth. My review is in the pinned comments. Finally, for the UK, EU and Australia, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. It's 20% off a new low price. This is a new release. If you loved games like Jet Set Radio, come here. It's basically an adventure game where you skate around tagging this world, but along the way you face different gangs, and it's all because someone cut off your head. Now you're basically trying to figure out who was behind the attack. Now you may be wondering how we survived this sort of situation, and it's because we got a cyber head. Definitely weird stuff, but it's absolutely great fun. Our second winner of the $10 eShop gift card then is Fanati, who highlighted Foes, and yes, it is a great rhythm game. Congrats on the win, drop me an email for the code, and everyone else drop a comment down below for your chance in next week's video. For the US and Canada then, this is our final 3 games today, starting with Moving Out 2, and this is a party game that will make you laugh and no doubt make you argue. It's all about progressively challenging scenarios where you must clear out locations and work together. The original was great fun. This simply expands upon that formula. Taking the game online then is a blast as well, and it has a ton of options, so any skill level can take part. It's 50% off, matching the low price. Our penultimate game of the video then, YOHANE the PARHELION Blazing the Deep Blue, gets 10% off and matching the low price. I reviewed this game, which I will link below, and this week I covered the demo for the new upcoming deck builder based on this same Love Live spin-off. This entry, however, is a Metroidvania, and sure, it is basic, but it is good fun as you explore and leverage different partners to help you tackle the slew of enemies that do appear. Our final game then, and a personal favourite this week, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's 75% off, which matches the low price, and I think this game is underappreciated. Sure, the formula definitely can get stale, but play it in small bursts and you will have fun as you tackle exploration and combat. There's even day-to-day life aspects as well. There's also some great boss battles, and generally it's just touching on a lot of the big events from the Dragon Ball narrative this far. I'll link my best anime game video down below. This did feature, and that's been an extremely popular video on the channel. And that is the video down. What will you be adding to the library this week? Let me know in the comments. With that, a shout out to the patrons and the channel members who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps me more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals, news and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.